Hello, everyone. I am Kristin Crockett, and I am the host of Courageous Destiny podcast, creating your own rules of empowerment. And today, in creating my own rules of empowerment, I am going to be both the hostess and the guest. So, what's really on my heart right now is this concept that I call rebirth. And it's not new out there in the world. You know, if you have anything to do with transformation or you know about transformation in the world, the idea of a butterfly and the metamorphosis that a butterfly goes through and how it generates a rebirth into something that can fly in this world and create and generate new things and be free. So, one of the things that happened to me early this year, I have been reborn a few times in my self-development journey. You know, maybe I'll go back a little bit and I'll tell you when it originally happened. So originally, I was reborn 7 years ago. I actually hired my coach and mentor, Ed Bolke, when I was in a point in my life that I had everything that I could possibly want in this world, and I didn't feel grateful. There was something missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I remember the first time I talked to him, and he listened to me. He listened to me complain for at least 30 minutes. I swear, I'd never had anybody just listen to me complain before. It was actually one of the most cleansing experiences of my life. You know, I'm a mom of triplets. People know that about me. You know, if you're listening to this podcast, you may have heard my introduction. But there was a point in my life 7 years ago where I felt completely powerless to really take anything on. I felt powerless and I felt stuck. The problem when you're powerless is that you're not able to really do anything about it. There's all of these obstacles that stand in the way of you actually creating and generating something new in your life. So to be able to create and generate something new in my life as a mom of triplets who worked full-time in sales, I was in corporate sales, I was a sales leader for over 20 years. To be able to create and generate something new in my life, I had to become something different. I couldn't just stay the same version of me. I couldn't just stay who I was to be able to create and generate something completely new. So I remember when Ed told me, and I'm going to share this with you because this really was my first rebirth. And he shared with me a concept that changed my life forever. For those of you who don't know, I am a certified Ed Bolke Deserve Level coach. And what that means is I coach people to rewire what they believe they deserve so that they can get what they want. So all of those years ago, Ed said to me, Kristin, after I complained to him for a half hour, by the way, I was over 85 pounds heavier than I am today and in a job I couldn't stand. Sorry, that job, but you knew it too. I was in a job I couldn't stand and I wasn't happy with my life, even though I had the most beautiful blessings in the world, which are my children, which of course I'm always grateful for. But not even that was filling that vacancy that was within me. And he shared with me this concept. And he said, after I told him all the reasons why I couldn't lose weight and all the reasons why I was stuck and all the reasons why, you know, I couldn't get what I want or change jobs. He said, Kristin, you know, you get in life what your unconscious mind believes you deserve. He told me that he wanted me to consider that if there was, you know, there's like a ceiling in which somebody is willing to take action. They go so far up the ladder of success and they hit the top of that ceiling. And then they self-sabotage. When they believe they deserve it, it doesn't matter where that ceiling is. They'll crush through it. They'll do whatever they got to do to get past that ceiling. But if they don't believe they deserve it, they'll just keep hitting that wall and they'll keep self-sabotaging. When he told me this, there was a part of me that was like, is he trying to say that that this weight struggle that I've had, by the way, my entire life is because I don't deserve to be thin? Are you kidding me? And that was the very start of my first rebirth. That concept changed my life forever. I went through the process to raise my deserve level. And what I found was when I raised my deserve level, I went through the process. It has an 9-step process that he utilizes, and he's coached me to coach other people through, that actually helps them raise that ceiling so they get access to more actions and they can raise their deserve level on purpose and then create things naturally and instinctively. In the first 3 months of coaching with Ed, I had lost my first 30 pounds. And not only did I lose my first 30 pounds, I also tripled my sales. Now, are there any sales pros out there? You know that's not easy, right? I wasn't at zero. Imagine all of a sudden closing all of those deals that were just out of your grasp and having them all close at once. And knowing that something was very different about you. I had been reborn. I had consciously created a rebirth of myself. My way of being changed. And because my way of being changed, I was taking different actions. And with those different actions, I was generating much different results. I didn't even know half the time that I was on a weight loss program to lose weight because it was so dang natural. Ed coached me to uncover truths about myself, truths that just showed up like the truth. Like I have no willpower. Like people didn't like me. Like no matter what I did, I wasn't going to matter. All kinds of stuff that sound absolutely nuts when I tell you this right now. But they sound nuts because it's not my conscious mind saying them. It's garbage that comes out of my unconscious mind. And I say garbage, but it's also our biggest opportunity. See, when we're able to uncover the truths about ourselves that our unconscious mind has hidden, we can take different action. We can start creating strategies and new ways of being. And that's what I did those first 3 months in working with Ed. And that shifted me from somebody who used to make fun of people who read self-development books. I remember going, hell no, I only read romance novels. If it's not making me laugh, I'm not going to read it. Why would I want to better myself? I'm perfectly fine the way I am. Yeah, perfectly fine. Escaping in a bottle of wine and food. That's how I would handle my stress. That's how I would handle things back then. I would eat and I would drink. So I was reborn. And ever since then, I've been working on myself. It was after those first 3 months, I decided that I would approach Ed to be my mentor and coach me to become a deserve level coach. Because I saw something in that process that I went through that everybody on the planet needed. And I didn't know why it was me. I didn't know why it was Kristin Crockett that was the one that discovered this. But I did. I saw it was the missing link. I saw it was the reason why people didn't create and generate the lives of their dreams. They would go so far up the ladder of success and they would self-sabotage over and over and over again. And the pain of that self-sabotage is a life of mediocrity. It's a life of, I can only get so much good in my life. I should be really thankful for all the good that I have. This is all I can have. You should be grateful for everything in your life, absolutely. But it's not all you can have. You get to have, sky's the limit. You get to have whatever you want in your life. You want $1 million? Go get $1 million. There's a way to create and generate that. But if you never address your unconscious mind, you will be stopped from action and you won't be willing to take the actions that it will take to generate that $1 million. Just like I wasn't willing to take the action to create a body that was physically fit and thin. It wasn't available to me. 95%, by the way, your unconscious mind is 95% of the way that you think, said I was not the type of person to have that. Well, after those first 3 months, I saw something different. I saw that I could create something new and I could generate something incredibly powerful in my life just by rewiring that unconscious mind, by getting it on board with thinking in a direction that would actually bring me success. Something as simple as I have no willpower, which wasn't true. And I remember my coach saying to me, Kristin, you have no willpower? You have triplets. Do they somehow manage to go to school fully clothed and clean and with food on the table every single day? And I said, yeah. I created willpower there. I created willpower a lot of places in my life. I just hadn't created it in the direction of weight loss. And when I started to see all the truths that I had about myself in that area, I was like, holy moly. I had been going to every weight loss class that there was, took on every fitness program you could possibly imagine. I still remember, was it Billy Banks and Tybo, you know, which actually I thought was fun. Could do it right in my living room. But my point is, all the weight loss programs, all of the things that I knew what to do, all the books that I had read, it didn't matter because I wasn't willing to do what I already knew what to do. I just wasn't willing. But when I raised my deserve level and I practiced a new way of thinking, and I really designed a new way of thinking that would make my success in that one area of life inevitable, I got there. And I got 85 pounds off. And sometimes I take that for granted. I'm like, man, I wish I had another 10-pound weight loss. Who cares? 85 pounds, God, that's so cool. What a big accomplishment. But I had to change the way I thought. I had to be reborn. So in the course of all of this work that I've done, I got into another ceiling of my deserve level. I got stuck in a big way. 7 years later, there were things that I wanted to create and generate in my life that I could not create and generate. I was stuck. It started in January. I was feeling pretty depressed. And I was getting these really, really bad stomach pains, really bad. I mean, like debilitating. And I had to do something. I didn't know what to do. So I actually started a cleanse with one of my beautiful coaches, Fernanda. And if anybody ever wants her information or Ed's information or any of my coaches' information, reach out, because I love them all dearly and I'm forever grateful to them. But I started a cleanse. You know, I took on eating in a whole new holistic way on purpose to heal my body. And it was 7 days. And I created the intention during that cleanse to be reborn. I'm like, I need to be reborn. I need another fresh start. Like when I raised my deserve level the first time, I need a fresh start. I deserve a fresh start. And in that time frame, I healed that stomach ache. We didn't know where it went to. I mean, I was in the ER. I was, working with all kinds of different things. Nothing was working. But Fernanda helped me. Fernanda helped me heal it. And there was something that I realized when I ate that way. Vegan, whole food, plant-based, non-inflammatory, no sugar. Sounds horrifying, doesn't it? It sounded horrifying to me too. It's the best thing I ever did for myself. One of the biggest gifts I ever did for myself. I got very intuitive. My business started to go up naturally, even in that week. And I felt great. And I healed that mysterious, out of nowhere stomach pain that was debilitating me for at least 2 months. And then COVID happened. So I got through that and COVID happened. And eventually when COVID happened, I can't even believe I'm going to admit this, but I did it's COVID. I can't get food the way I normally can. So I'm going to eat different things. And I went off of that clean eating program. And the good news was my stomach pain never came back. I had done a really good job of healing it. The bad news is that it led me to seek something outside of myself to make me feel better. It made, there was I had to feel better. And so this extrovert who loves to talk to people, who has her own podcast, who before COVID was going around and from event to event to event and public speaking and doing all of these great things and writing a book and interviewing people and all of those wonderful, huge things, got quiet and I hid. I hid from everybody and I hid from myself. But I knew I needed something else. I knew I needed to be reborn again. And so in that need to become reborn again, I just started self-sabotaging. And it sounds funny, but that self-sabotage showed up like chips. It showed up like, the food started showing up. And it showed up in, I'll just share with you, it showed up in online internet dating, which was fun. And I don't regret a second of it. But at that point, I wasn't all the way divorced yet. And so for me, being this coach and walking the talk and coaching my clients, it wasn't in alignment with who I was. It wasn't in alignment. And it wasn't the right time for my kids. But nothing happens. It was the best thing I ever did too, because nothing happens that doesn't show you, and this is something Fernanda really coached me on, that this world is a world of contrast. How do we know how to navigate our world unless we go through the ups and the downs? And I got to a big down. I didn't know how to build my business in COVID. And I laugh about that because this is coming from the girl who was writing a book Courageous Destiny, 111 Secrets to Limitless Leadership, Power, and Sales. Of course, I knew how to build a business. I knew how to sell lots. I've sold millions of dollars in my days. I've led my sales teams. I've been at the top of the ladder. But again, I was hiding and I was stuck and I needed to be reborn. And there were things that I was avoiding. I was avoiding making my divorce final. I had a lot of guilt about my kids, guilt because I was still friends with my spouse. I had a lot of guilt. But I also knew that I did deserve a fresh start. And I knew the truth. And the truth was I needed to get divorced. I also needed to move and get my own place. During the transition, I had lived with my mother. I'm very, very grateful for her for allowing me and the triplets to stay there while we transitioned. I also needed to truly take my business to the next level. And my dear coaches, and I've had 5 over the years that I'm going to be interviewing in a series on my podcast that is coming up very quickly. And I can't wait to introduce them to you guys because they've all had such an important role in my development. And they are some of the most courageous people I know. But I couldn't move forward. And so my coaches, they introduced me to Fernanda. I shouldn't say they introduced me to Fernanda. I'd already known Fernanda from the cleanse. But they showed me an opportunity that I could work with her one-on-one and I could get my body back in shape. At this point, I had been walking and just trying to find myself in COVID for so long. I walked 7-10 miles a day. I just kept walking and kept walking and kept walking, knowing that I was lost. I knew that I was lost. And I started working with her. And just like my stomach, that herniated disc with the pinched nerve that was absolutely debilitating, healed. It healed. I did lots of journaling. She had me do lots of journaling. She coached me to do lots of it. And she asked me what my intention was. And it was pretty much the same that it was during that cleanse. And that was, I need to be reborn because I can't move forward. So I started the program. And every day I set an intention. But eventually I'll started with courageous. If I was going to be courageously efficient in a day, I would set that intention. If I was going to create alignment with my actions to what I wanted in my business that day, I was going to do it courageously. I was also going to make sure that every day I set that I wasn't going to live in the past, that I was going to allow myself a courageous restart every day. I was going to allow myself every day to have a courageous rebirth. And I'm so glad that I did. In those 3 months, I have my own place now. I have my own home. I designed it with Fernanda's coaching. She told me to design it. And in the 15 days from the time I designed it to the time I moved in, I found all of the money that I needed. I moved. I got movers. I hired movers. And now the triplets and I are in this wonderfully cute 3-bedroom, 2 full bath home with a little yard for our dog, Louis, our Shih Tzu. My car was breaking down and breaking down and breaking down and breaking down. I had a friend of mine really tick me off. He said something I'm not going to say, but he said something that I didn't really quite understand, but there was something in it that I'm like, I got to go get a new car. He's like, don't you coach people on what they deserve? Don't you deserve a clean car, you know, a safe, not clean, but a safe car for you and your triplets? And I'm like, yes. That night, not even 10 minutes after that I received that text, I went and I drove right to a dealership and I bought a new car. I'm like, I'm not driving that car anymore. I also 5 times my business, which was my very favorite thing because that meant I could help 5 times the people. I was walking my talk. I was restarting every day. So I 5 times my business. I got the money that I needed. I moved. I healed my back again. All of these things that were impossible 3 months prior. I got the divorce. My husband and I got divorced over Zoom, which was very strange. I met some really great people along the way. Some really great people. People I don't know that they'll ever truly know how they helped me. So I created a program. You will never guess what it's called. And I see it as being something really big and really something that people need. It is called Courageous Destiny Rebirth. You get to choose victim or victor. See, if you're a victim, you have no power. You can't take action. You're stuck. You do things like walk around a trail for hours at a time, wondering why you can't do anything else but walk around a trail. You find every reason, every excuse as to why you can't move forward in your life. That's a victim. And I'm sorry if there's people out there that think that's really negative. I like it because it's disruptive. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want anybody I know to be a victim. But when we're stuck in our life and we're powerless, isn't that what we are? A victim? I want myself and I want the people that I love and the people that I know to be victors. We all deserve that. We deserve to be able to create and design our lives. We are amazing. We have this amazing ability to create and generate a limitless amount of success. But the past dictates and says, no, we can't. Look at all this proof. Look at all this evidence. So if you want to look at something new, you got to do something really different. You need to allow yourself to be reborn. And in that rebirth, you get to create and generate anything you want. I almost forgot. I lost the 20 pounds I gained during COVID eating those chips during that rebirth process. Thank you, Fernanda. And I had a lot of fun doing it. See, a lot of the times we create that the lives and the successes that we want to generate are difficult and not fun. But man, what that closes the door to is that they could be an adventure and they could be fun with consciousness. I had a friend of mine say not too long ago, You live too consciously. I can't do that. And to that, what I have to say to that is thank goodness, because I used to be unconscious. And my unconsciousness had me 85 pounds heavier, with high blood pressure and miserable, in a career that I couldn't stand. That was unconsciousness. Escaping into a bottle of wine. Escaping into pizza. Sometimes I still do that. Oops. Not perfect. Thank God. Perfect's boring. But consciously, you get to create and generate passion in your life. You get to create and generate fun. And you get to redesign what all kinds of different things mean to you. You want the body of your dreams? Great. What would it take to have fun redesigning your body? What would it take to have fun eating in a whole new way that was a gift to you, and treating your body like the amazing vessel that it is? The divine vessel carrying your soul. Let's get really flowery. What would that look like? What would that take? It would take being rebirthed, reborn. So in this process, having been reborn several times, I've named a few off. There's been several times in the last several years that I've allowed myself to start over from scratch. This time, I even got like the pink pens and the markers and the trapper keeper that I used to have when I was a kid, to just be able to start designing again. Because I used to have fun when I used to write in my kitten trapper keeper, all the things that I had to do in school. So why not, create my new life from that? Gets me away from the phone for a little while. Oh, and by the way, one of the things that I found in being reborn was that I spent too much time on my damn phone. It was a leash. So now I've introduced, digital free times, digital free days. We end up living in our phones instead of in the world. So my goal, and I have a really, really great group already, of my first group of people to go through my Courageous Destiny Rebirth program. You get to choose victim or victor. If you're watching this now, this is going to start November 11th. So if you're out there right now and you're like, I want that, I need that, I need to give my life a fresh start, you contact me. I have 6 more spots. I believe that this is just the very beginning of a program for women that will become workshops. It will become a curriculum, and it will become the future for anybody who wants to give themselves a really, truly fresh start. I believe that I'll help people do things that I've done. Stop drinking, live a life of sobriety that's fun and exciting. 5 times their business. Lose large amounts of weight. Find the next loves of their lives. I haven't done that yet, but I'm on my way. Break the ties of people who don't suit them anymore. Being willing to give up things like guilt so that they can really, really create and design their lives from a place of love. Learn how to take impeccable care of themselves. It's really interesting when I started doing this podcast and I decided, you know what, I'm going to talk about rebirth today because I think that's what everybody needs, because I know I needed it. And I know that almost everybody I have talked to needs this work. And who better to help them than somebody who is an expert in starting over? I created a decision 7 years ago, raising my deserve level the first time. And that decision was, I am rubber and I bounce right back. That means no matter what I did the day before, I get to start new and fresh the next day. And so that's what I created all those years ago. And in this time, I have courageously restarted my life and been creating new results in my life ever since. I've let go of perfection. I've let go of lots of patterns of behavior. I'm an expert at spotting blind spots because people, let's face it, I've had them all. Really, really great coaches like me have experts behind them that they've hired to coach them so that they can help. They can really be a catalyst in your life and a cause for change. And I use those words specifically because a coach isn't somebody who tells you what to do and go, hey, go do things like I did. Go rebirth like I've been rebirthed. That's bullshit. You got to find your own way and you need a guide. And that to me is what a true coach does. Becomes an expert guide, showing you your blind spots, helping you generate the life that you want, helping you have the courage to admit what you actually want in your life. So, if you are interested in rebirth, courageous destiny, rebirth, you get to choose victim or victor. You let me know. And if you're not, I just highly encourage you to start your own journey. Let that whole concept gel with you. Think about it. If I had a fresh look at my life, what would be different? If I had a magic wand right now, what would I design that's different? Would I be living this life that I live right now if I had a magic wand? Do I not think I can do it? Let me tell you, whatever you decide you want, if you truly make a decision and you get the resources, you can do it on your own and you'll do it faster with a coach. Feed your mind positive things. Allow yourself to change the way that you think. If you've got one of these attitudes that I know it all and I already heard that and whatever, then keep going the way you're going and live unconscious and go create and generate whatever haphazard thing you might be able to do. And I hope that you have a really great time doing it. But if you're one of those brave few who wants to courageously create a rebirth and consciously design their life into something truly extraordinary, talk to me. All right, everybody. I have gone on long enough. I love you all. Thank you for listening to me on my own show as both the host and the guest. And I want to just say, I support you, whatever it is you choose to do. But the one word I'm going to leave you with is no matter what you decide to create in your life, remember there's one word that I use all the time with myself because I make lots of mistakes, which to me are my building blocks because you can't really design a whole new life without embracing and making a lot of mistakes. So I create a lot of grace for myself, and I highly encourage you to do that too. All right. You guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.